over our top 5 locations that we had a lot of spirit box activity.
Yep, and number 5 is going to be the old Pickens County Jail. That's the one up in Jasper. We went there, got a lot of good direct responses. There was one point where we seen a shadow figure, and that's what you're about to see in this clip. We asked the spirits if they're the ones that we seen, and we got some direct responses. So here we go. Let's get into it, and thank you all for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
With them? You're downstairs with them? I swear I just seen a shadow like dark across the back wall right here. And it might have been your camera, so I don't want to see, because that was a direct response right to us seeing the shadow. See, there's another direct response to it. Don't be shy, come and communicate with us. We enjoy seeing you. What? What? Why were you in jail here? See, they definitely not want us in there. Do you like that we're here to talk to you? No.
Yeah, I remember, man, like going in there and setting up some of the equipment and stuff. Like, I know, like, when we separated, usually, you know, you're at one spot, I'm at another spot, and we're getting stuff pre-staged and getting everything set up so that way when we're walking around, we can try to capture as much as we can.
Just get into
the
it.
only thing that to me, like going upstairs, there's like a little, like a cafeteria,
yeah,
where they call it area where, well, not like just where they sat down to eat their meals. It had like a long bench kind of table that was up there. So up there, even setting stuff on there, facing everything down through the cells. The only thing that kind of got me, and it didn't, certain places in there kind of gave you that feeling where, you know, I don't want to kind of be up here by myself, that deal.
Like, no.
But the only thing that I felt kind of was upstairs was more of, you feel like you were being watched. There was, because you were in a confined space. You were in the bars pretty much,
and it pretty much separated from the main building as well. So
right, and you're and around those bars on the outside would still be a walkway to where, you know, guards or the sheriff or whoever could walk through. But those are the kind of areas where when you had your back turned to where you felt like something was peeking and kind of watching you is what is kind of my feeling of it whenever, you know, I was up there initially setting up equipment. Yeah,
and I think, you know, it being more of an antique kind of jail really does set that darker tone. And like you said, there's a couple times during that investigation, especially in that back corner where, you know, you can see in our original video, I kind of went back there and tried to do some thermal stuff. And like you said, it's just a creepy feeling like you're constantly being watched. And you know, you can almost put yourself in the position of the prisoners originally and the conditions that they had to live in. And, you know, you can't help but feel sad for them. So there's a little bit of emotion in there with that. But like I said, I mean, you know, it is a place I wouldn't want to be locked up for sure. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to go out there, get some good evidence. You know, that kind of takes me into our next video. We got called out to a private residence out in Cave Springs. And if you remember, this is where the spirit was kind of mocking us a little bit with sarcastic tones. You know, and we'll go ahead and play that clip, though, just to let them see what we're talking about. Did you just make a noise over in his back bedroom? See, and what's crazy about this is, watch, we didn't get someone on the other camera. Did you just make a noise over in his back bedroom? And that's weird, because when I'm reviewing this stuff, usually you capture that voice on any camera that's around, not just one. Move forward a little bit. No, like move your camera back. I seen something over here by the back door. Step forward. All right, stop. Garrett, step forward. See, that's where
it said forward and it said back.
Yep. See, and now it's reacting to me saying something back there. That's what we're wondering too, because that just gave me goosebumps. Because when I heard that, I instantly made that connection. There's a shadow on this wall right here. Scared the hell out of me. And I just seen something dart across the wall right
and then it reacted again. I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah, like it's one of us. What was that? You know, it took me forever to figure out what that was. Are you back here? And then, yeah, Bellino. And finally I found a word in Latin. You see, and it tells us right there, it is me back there. That whole investigation was just weird because they didn't know what was haunting their house. They had no record of any deaths. There was nothing in their family that they knew of. But they had a lot of weird occurrences, and I don't understand still why that spirit was so sarcastic. And
I remember doing an interview with them too, and it was kind of like they, even prior to the interview, she was saying it was almost like childlike.
Right, it is.
Like something that would be running through, kind of, you know, knocking stuff off counters or moving stuff, or saying, you know, I remember putting something here, but it would end up being over in this other location. And then there was a lot of children, you know, that lived in the house as well. So I mean, it could be more of like a child's play type deal, that thing was whatever the spirit or whatever was in there was kind of feeding off of because of the children that were in the house. So
yeah, because I mean, like those responses are something that you would, you know, think a child would say.
Right. Yeah, like they're mocking you.
Yep. So, all right, that's going to lead us into our next one, which is number 3, Myrtle Hill in Rome, Georgia. That's a cemetery, for those that don't know. Got a lot of direct and creepy responses. Let's get into that one. There's a lot of Civil War activity here. So I'm going to pause it right here because when I originally did this reviewing of the evidence, I thought that it said, I hate hate, which still didn't make any sense to me. I was like, what? I hate hate. But, you know, when you get that, that's what you put because that's what you hear. But when I was actually making this video and I had some upgraded headphones, a lot better gear than what we originally used, because this is one of our first places that we went to, it actually says, I hate this place, which makes a lot more sense, it being a cemetery.
Are you a soldier that died in the war?
Yep. Clear day. And then what do you mean, pal? What's crazy? That accent sounds like it's from the Civil War days. It has a very, like, you get what I'm saying, an older accent than what we have nowadays.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a very creepy place overall. We really enjoyed that investigation. There's a lot of area to cover. And, you know, just like I said, direct responses. I honestly wouldn't expect any different from a graveyard. So.
Yeah, and then we kind of split up too, and that was when we, you know, like Nick said, we kind of first got to start on it. We didn't have a whole lot of equipment. We had bare minimum, so what we did have of setting stuff around, we split up. We had 2 other guys with us. Well, actually 3 other guys with us, and we kind of all split up and kind of got in teams, and they were getting some different responses on, you know, the trigger objects and things like that was making them go off. And so it was kind of cool seeing some of that stuff, especially whenever we were fresh into it. It was kind of new to us. So it was kind of interesting on what we captured up there, considering the environment that we were in and the location that we were at. So I mean, it turned out pretty neat.
Yeah, those are direct responses. I like to go back out there again. So we'll go ahead and get into our number 2, which is when we return back to Quartzwood.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot to choose from. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if this is my number 2 pick. I just kind of picked one and ran with it because there was a lot of responses. But yeah, we'll get into it.
Charles, I appreciate you communicating with us. I think I heard your voice come through.
So basically it says Charles is gone, he's not here.
Would like to tell the world? Now I just want to point out.
So it's crazy. You're about to get a... Like, it was...
I just want to point out, man, this place, if you've never been there, it is a location that is way back off in there. I mean, it's going to take you, you know, you're going to take a good drive, and then on top of that, you're going to take a good hike to get back off in this location. So you're way back out in the middle of nowhere, and all you're in is this pretty much this ruin of a house that used to be there. And there's a couple pieces of that structure that is still standing. There's the archway of coming into it, and then there's two you know, sphere type structures that are in the back. But the amount of stuff that we got when we went out to Corpsewood was ridiculous when it came across the spirit box. Honestly, I wasn't expecting a whole lot going back there. But once we got out there, we got started filming, and Nick started turning on the spirit box, asking questions. The direct responses, I mean, just them saying the names of the people that used to live out there and how they came across first and last name. I mean, that in itself would, you know, give you chills. And on top of that, it was, I mean, we got out there late, man. I mean, it was dark before we started hiking back in there. So I recommend get out there a little, you know, when you have a little bit of daylight so you can see. And it makes it a lot easier to follow the trail to kind of get back there. But yeah, man, just the responses that we got when we went to this place. And I know we went there at least twice.
Yeah, we did.
And it was just, it was crazy.
It was, and to add on to that, you know, the spirit box that we have, we took the radio antenna out of it. We've been in places in downtown cities where we're not getting anything but static. We're talking, like Kevin said, 4 to 5 miles out in the middle of nowhere on top of a mountain, and we're getting voice after voice, like, you know, you have a radio right next to you. And to his point too, you know, if you go back to Corpsewood and you communicate like we did, you definitely don't want to walk back in the dark because it feels like something's watching you every second.
Oh, and, yeah, definitely.
You know, I'm a big boy, so trying to get out the woods quickly isn't going to happen. So we'll go ahead and show y'all the rest of this. So, as you can see, they're kind of poking at us right now. I think this part's interesting because there was a Ouija board that was out there the first time we ever made it. And now, granted, we just said it was a 4 or 5 mile hike, and someone has a Ouija board already out there.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a store bought. This was a homemade, like someone made it on a piece of wood. You know, had it drawn out exactly like it was. You know, it's supposed to. There were a lot of deer skulls. There was a lot of animal bones. There was a lot of, you know, stuff like candles, stuff like that back there. So once you get out there and you notice that, you're like, you know, what have people been doing out here? So, you know.
Well, if you remember, on the second time we went through is when we got this, someone had actually drew an X with spray paint through the board. And what's creepy about it is this video between the first time we went was only a 2-week period.
Yeah.
That means that within 14 days of us going out there, someone else was out there doing some kind of ritual, something demonic. And that's why I thought this is interesting, because the responses we got the second time were a lot darker than the responses we got the first time. Yeah,
so...
And the fact that it said that Charles is gone during all this is kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's why I said, you know, too, just... You never know who's going to be out there.
Right.
There's a lot of property out there. You know, the guy that owns the property doesn't mind people going out there. Just be respectful of the area. Don't don't litter. Don't use a lot of trash, you know, or anything like that out there. But giving yourself that little heads up and giving it a little bit of daylight, at least you'll be able to kind of see the environment whenever you get out there. So that way, if you do walk up on something that you don't want to be a part of, you can turn around and kind of wait your turn.
That's right. So I added this one. I thought it was kind of funny. I got called a butthole in the middle of asking questions. So I'm always the bad guy, you know.
You do catch a lot of hate.
I do. I get called every
Nick's,
name in the book.
Yeah, I mean, Nick does a lot more talking than what I do. I mean, I'll you know, say my piece every now and again, but usually I'm following behind Nick with a camera. But Nick gets called a lot of different stuff that we don't, you know, some stuff we leave out because it's kind of vulgar. But yeah, Nick gets the heat on 90% of the stuff.
I do, and you know, some of y'all's comments have been in the past, you know, well, you also take a nicer approach, or, you know, you also do this, and we get that. We took that feedback, and maybe that had a lot to do with it, but sometimes I think even if we're nice, they're still going to act this way. I mean, we're in Corpsewood, so we got to keep that in mind. You know, that's already bad stuff going on there. But as you can see, here's one kind of a smart response to me. It says you're looking, and then watch.
I am looking for it.
And it's like you found it.
Who brought it out here?
And you say demon.
Demon.
Yeah. You're looking, you found it, demon. I mean, it's...
And I don't know. I mean, you need to read back on kind of the history of this place too. I mean, and that way you can kind of get an idea of what you're getting into out there. Even though there's not, you know, a structure out there, there is still a lot of activity. I mean, as far as what you can get through the spirit box, probably what you could get as far as EVPs out in this location as well. I mean, it's its own place in itself. I mean, it's, you know, it's hard to explain unless you go out there and see it for yourself.
It is. So we're gonna get right into another one at Corpsewood. This is the one right here that really made me start believing in the paranormal. I cannot explain it, so we'll get right into it.
You heard? Charles?
So here's the thing on that one, and you know, we went to one of my family members' houses that had recently passed away, and that was like one of the first places we went to. And I remember I was using the dowsing rods, and we had that video up on our page, and you know, that was an experience in itself. But I was still skeptical of this whole thing. I was like, you know, just because dowsing rods are moving, that doesn't really mean much. And then we went out to Corpsewood the first time. And the static box, as I said earlier, is a piece of equipment that scans radio stations frequently at different rates. So imagine you're in your car and all of a sudden your radio is going as fast as possible. A little bit of backstory on this location. Charles Odom and John Odom were the ones who built this place out in the woods to kind of get away from society and essentially be together without anyone passing judgment. And they had their two dogs there. You can see the whole story on our YouTube channel. But what's crazy about it is that spirit box is going through those radio stations, and it's going fast. I mean, it's scanning. The fact that we got Charles Odom and John, and then Charles again on that static box, it blows my mind, because you know that nobody in the area on the radio station is talking about John or Charles Odom at the exact same time we're out there. I've even adjusted the speeds. I've seen if maybe I misheard it, but you know, when I got that, till this day, I'm like, look, there's something to this afterlife stuff, because there's no way we randomly got that in the middle of the woods. It doesn't happen. I mean, in my opinion, that has to be the best spirit box capture we've ever gotten. I mean, like I said, I have no words to describe how crazy that is. I mean, that's the odds of getting that are probably the same as winning the lottery, and I haven't won the lottery yet. So
keep trying.
Yeah. But I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate y'all sticking around, tuning in. We're going to find some more locations. We're going to kind of look around, see what we can get into. Hopefully post more of these videos, post some more of those, but we're definitely not going anywhere. We're here to stay. It just takes a little bit of time to get these locations. And, you know, if y'all have any locations that you're interested in us coming out to, we'll definitely travel. All you got to do is direct message us on YouTube or our email at debunktheparanormal@yahoo.com. And we'll come out and investigate. And you can even be a part of the investigation if you want to. And I think Kevin has some other news to share as well.
Nope.
Well, you want to talk about the team member, didn't you?
Yeah, we are. We're kind of looking into seeing if we can find someone else that would like to join our team as well. Someone that wants to contribute, to help us find locations, go to these locations, do these investigations with us. I think it would be nice to be able to have a third person to be out there with us and be able to go to all these cool places. I mean, even, you know, besides the, you know, what we're doing and what we're there for, we get to see a lot of really cool places, right, and places you typically wouldn't go to.
Right.
But it's also, you know, we always get that bonus, you know,
right,
being able to get into that location, like the many that we've been to, and get some of the responses and the reactions and the EVPs and stuff we get on the spirit box, the noises, and it's just, I mean, I can't explain it.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It is.
And then there's some places that we go to, you know, that we go in there and we stay there for a couple of hours just to try to see what we can get to come out, what wants to communicate with us, and we don't get anything.
No.
I mean, it's a hit or miss, you know, the different places that you go. But if you're interested, same thing. Just hit us up, let us know if you'd like to be a part of our team, and like to go with us on some of these investigations and these pretty cool places that we go to.
Yeah, let us know.
Thanks.
I appreciate it, guys. Like and subscribe below, and we'll see you next time.